So today is a customer's repair. I'd like to have done a base station, but we've got too many customers' repairs and time is limited. Today it's a Uniden 400, which is a CEPT only version of the Uniden 200. So it's in nice condition, serial number 3047, that's nice. So we will open it up. I've never seen one before. Oh look, the Truck King warranty ran out in '88. Look, we can actually shade that so you can actually see it. Oh, it's got screws in the back. I wasn't expecting that. I'm glad I didn't get a tyre lever to it to open it up. Told you I'd not seen one before. Alright, better unsolder the speaker. So I hope these don't have those troublesome 220 microfarad capacitors in. No, that's 330. That's 470, so I think we're rid of them. I think it's just in for a general service, and he says it's low on transmitted audio, which is quite likely. Okay, so I'm getting no transmits. That's we've got it in the wrong mode. There we are. It's doing about 2 3/4 watts. Managed to get my hair cut today, first time in about 4 months. So if I inadvertently get my head in the camera, there may not be the hair that there has been recently. Be able to see a better picture. I might be trying a different signal generator for the receive side of this, because I want to try out a Marconi Audio Millivoltmeter, which allegedly has SINAD built into it. So that will be an interesting test. And I paid £25 for one of these meters, and I think I paid £50 for the other. So they're readily available, relatively cheap. Whereas something which actually says SINAD meter on it, it conjures up £100. I'll just put the other camera on, and then we can all have a look as we tune up the transmitter. So what we're basically looking at on transmit is we're going to be going through, I don't know the part numbers, I don't think I've got a manual for one of these, but the layout's very similar to the Uniden 200. So that could well be 18, 17, I know that's 16 and that's 15, and then we'll be looking at adjusting that. But I'll check that with the spectrum analyzer in case it's the 55 meg trap. So here we go. So we're on the 3 watt scale. Are we on high power? If they've got high and low. No, they don't have high and low. See, I'm so used to 2781 stuff. And we don't have it on channel 20 either. Sorry, it's on channel 19. So it's minutely off frequency, which is nothing we can do about. I don't think there is. Might be that that's the crystal trimmer. We don't normally do much CPT stuff, as you realise, because nobody we know uses them. So just going to see what if that is a frequency trimmer. Yes, it is. I'll show that then on another camera. Okay, so as you can see, we're doing public address system's gone over to radio. Always manage to record when it's on the hour. So that's the 3 watt scale. We're looking at 2.2 watts, so we need to bring it up from that, hopefully. So that's managed to drop it down a fraction. Well, I'll go through that a few times and we'll see whether we can get any improvement on just under 3 watts. Okay, so we've got it at 3 watts now. No, a good 3 watts seems to be about the maximum we're going to get out of this, probably about 3.2. So we better move over to deviation. And of course this is what the customer was complaining about. And don't seem to be on there. It helps if we turn the mic gain up, doesn't it? No wonder we're not getting anywhere. Wallow. 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 Okay, with the little oscillator on, we'll adjust the deviation, showing 2.5. Let's see what we get. He's now over the top. Wallow, that's spot on. It's actually correct as it was, and he was saying it was a bit low. I must mention to check the mic gain control. So I want the meter to say 4 watts, whether the radio does 4 watts or not. So doesn't. You see, the meter doesn't say it does 4 watts. The meter has a red zone, and I want the needle to be in the centre of the red zone. So RF is VR3. And there we have it. VR3. Well, these sets don't have low power, so I don't have that to check. So everything else is now to do with the receive. So what we're going to try and do is to go over to the other bench. And that's going to be interesting. I'm wondering how I'm going to record it so that it will edit together with this. Yeah, I've had an idea. there's no overhead camera next door, but what we're going to be doing on receive is it'll be this, these, those two, there and there, and the detector is probably that. And then we've got the S meter, the squelch. Oh, I've missed this. On transmit, the radio has a modulation meter, so we'll just make sure that's set right. Mod meter. Wallow. It is. Because if it wasn't, it's the adjustment just there. Now in the Mr. Chippy's workshop in bench 2, which is the bit I'm allowed to use in Mr. Chippy's workshop, and I've set up this equipment especially to do the Heathkit HW12 1966 SSB transceiver, because last time when we did that we did it as the manual, and I'm competing with the tannoy system that's now putting through some ham radio thing off our scanner. We're competing with the air conditioner, the background music system and the scanner, so that's how it is at the moment. I can't get to anything, and this is a rubbish view. I've got a radio down here. I showed you already which points I was going to adjust. What we've got is a Hewlett-Packard signal generator here, and eBay 375 quid. What we've got here is a Gold Star storage scope. The Gold Star scopes are made by Hitachi, so and of course it's LG, isn't it, these days, because the firm's really called Lucky Gold Star, but they've never used the Lucky bit when they seem to have come to the UK, and they just call themselves LG these days. So we've got that. We've got a really rubbishy extension speaker that I bought. They're nice speakers, but it's in rubbish condition, shall I say. I bought off a rally for 50 pence. Now the reason I'm using the ropey one, of course, is I couldn't sell it to anybody, but I've also, you might just be able to see, there's a what we call a chop block there, because people ask me how am I connecting these up. Well, look, in the back of the radio we've got an ordinary 3.5mm jack plug. It goes to that chop block, 2 wires go onto the speaker, and the other 2 wires go into the Marconi 893C AF power meter, which I wanted to prove could do SINAD because it has the word SINAD on it. I bought that for 25 quid. I've got another one I paid 45 quid for. So instead of having to import one from the United States for 100 quid plus import duty plus, you know, and you've ended up with postage, you've ended up with 200 quid spent, these can be had cheaply. But lo and behold, there's the word SINAD. So what I'm going to do, I will just, we've got a power supply on there. It's set for 13.8 volts ish, and that's 2.5 amp power supply. We're not transmitting, and people say, oh, I blew up my signal generator. Well, don't transmit up it, you know. Easy, don't press transmit. So this is a receive only setup. We're not going to touch transmit. The mic's in because, as most of you will know, the audio goes through the microphone lead on a lot of CBs. So I'm just going to set the oscilloscope up, which I haven't done, and I'll just pause the video while we do that. Okay, so we're all set up on the oscilloscope. I don't know that you can see the screen. There's a lot of glass in this room. It's got glass on 2 sides, hence the air conditioning being on. So this is a digital storage scope, but okay, we can use one of those cheap ones we normally use, the £99.99 wonders. I do prefer analog instruments rather than digital ones, and this seems to be about as digital as we can go without it being jumpy to my idea. So we've got this set up, and I've got the correct impedance selected. The oscilloscope is also just connected across the speaker, so all we've got is the output of the signal generator to the aerial input of the radio, and the extension speaker socket going to the speaker, the Marconi AF power meter, and the oscilloscope. Now we've got this set for SINAD, and if I turn the volume up you can see the needle move. So what I now want to do is, like on the normal SINAD meter, the better it is, the more to the left it's going to go. We'll start with the first coil. In fact, we'll turn the signal generator down a bit. Worse. Better. I'm just dropping this off with the RF gain, to be honest, it's easier on this radio. So on 27205 channel 20, that's our first coil done. So drop this signal down again. Next coil. Next coil. Onto the next one. Signal down again. Next coil. Then we're going to do the detector. This is where I need to be able to see the oscilloscope. So we're now going to give it an S9 signal. So we're now looking at 100 microvolts. I think we are. I'll just check. No, we're not. That's 100 microvolts. I don't know whether you can see that. If I put my head in the way, you should be able to. I now want to maximise that recovered waveform. And we can also take this out of SINAD. I'll just knock the power out output. So now we can read the... We can actually maximise it on the AF power meter. I've just done the wrong coil, so I'll have to go back on that. So you see how we can peak that not only on the oscilloscope, but even easier with the Marconi AF power meter. So I'll now go back to SINAD and correct that error. And there we go, we're now set for maximum receive using SINAD. So we need to set the power meter, sorry, we need to set the S meter on the radio. So go back to a 100 microvolt. So on the signal generator that is 100 microvolts, and on the radio, I can't even see the viewfinder, let alone we're reading just under. So it's VR2. We'll just pop that up a fraction. So that's VR2 up a fraction. So now it just leaves us to do the squelch. So we can turn the volume down. We're done with the oscilloscope. We're done with the SINAD meter really. And what I want to do is to knock off the signal generator. I'll tell you what, we'll go down as far as we can hear it. So that's 3 microvolts, 1 microvolt, 0.3 of a microvolt. So we'll leave it at that. And we're going to turn the signal generator off, set the squelch to threshold. That's threshold. So put the signal generator back on, and it hasn't come in. So now we'll advance the signal generator. So we're currently at 0.3 of a microvolt. 1 microvolt it's come in. That's okay. So now we're going to turn the squelch to full, and we'll see what size of signal it needs to open a squelch. I want it to be 100 microvolts, which is S9 on a UK CB radio. So that's 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 31 microvolts, 100 microvolts. It's not come in, and I want it to come in. So I'm going to adjust the squelch preset, which is, I think it's VR1, which is the one on the left, until that comes in. Just on that threshold, there it is, it's coming. So now to check it, I'm just going to drop the signal generator from 100 microvolts to 31 microvolts, take it back to 100 microvolts, and it's coming in. So we'll do that test again. I'll drop the signal generator down to 0.1 of a microvolt, switch it off, and then set the threshold. There we are, threshold set. Switch the generator back on, so we're still at 0.1 of a microvolt, 0.3 of a microvolt, and it's coming in at 1. That's fine. So we've reset the squelch as well. So that's it. So hopefully that's taken some of the mystery out of how these are connected. Radio to the signal generator, we are not pressing transmit. Oscilloscope, which is channel 1 X plates, just to the extension speaker, which is going to the speaker, the AF power meter, which is also the SINAD meter, and back to the radio. So it's as simple as that. We've got nothing nothing on the transmit, and we're using separate instruments, whereas normally I use the Marconi test set. All we could use we could just quite simply have a bird watt meter or similar, and we could have the deviation meter as separate equipment, but I don't choose normally to do it that way. So we're doing receive only, and that's now spot on. Now I can't start going on the air with it from this bench, but we will be doing a scratchy corner test with Mr. Chippy later on, and there you are. It's CEPT. It's going to be ropey in this area because we don't do very well with CEPT, but there you have it, the Uniden 400 on PR27GB format, and that is receiving beautifully. Thank you for watching.